Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In our last session, we talked about the concept of understanding the Fiori security concepts, the basics of SAP Fiori, and also the installation and setup and about the server access of Fiori application. In today's session, we will look at how to install SAP Fiori systems for basis consultant. How do you set up a brand new system and how do you then configure that system in your practical usage? We'll also talk about different uses, different roles which exist around you in regard to the Fiori. So just to take a quick reminder of the last class, what we learned was we've learned the architecture or the Fiori deployment option with Fiori Central Hub deployment as well as Fiori embedded deployment. We realized that a Fiori Central Hub deployment system is basically a two system combination where your existing system is called BES, backend system, and the new system which you will add to support Fiori is called Fiori frontend system or FES. We've talked about the components of the systems which are installed both in backend and frontend separately. Now we will see how a basis person will set up the brand new system in your company. So first I'll explain you the steps because many of you may not be doing this installation. There is already a system, but if somebody wants to understand from scratch, we need to perhaps know how exactly the installation is carried out in a real time in your company. So the very first thing what you do, your company will go ahead and purchase a hardware. A hardware is basically a server from SAP certified vendors like Dell, Lenovo, and that server will have certain amount of memory and also certain amount of computing units. Afterwards, you start the tool called software update, a software maintenance planner tool. This is a tool which is provided by SAP. The link has been given already in the slides, which you guys can use. And you need to use your S user ID. S user ID is given to people who are actually entitled to perform these activities in a company. So if you're a basis consultant, a SAP Fiori security consultant, perhaps there is a S user ID through which you can download software from SAP Software Marketplace. And also you can install the system using your S user ID. The tool is available already on the internet. When you click on the link, the tool will launch. I've also linked a SAP standard video to show you the installation process. However, let's click on the tool. And once you start, you can see it will connect to your backend system. Basically, there is every out of all the SAP systems, there is a system called SLD system. SLD stands for System Landscape Directory, which is holding the information of all the other systems working in your company. So this tool, Software Maintenance Planner tool, will connect to that SLD system. And from that SLD system, it reads the information about all the available SAP systems. And then you will be able to see them as an overview on this screen of software maintenance planner tool. Then what do is you will plan a new system or plan for S4HANA. One of the options you will choose. Once I click on plan, I can start the tool. Now, when you want to start your implementation, at least you will do a small process, a smart background check about what are all the different apps you need in your company. So as I already showed in the last class, we have Fiori App Reference Library, where you can go and select all the apps which you want to get started in a brand new system. Yes, so you can go to Fiori App Reference Library and also select the application here. So I select application and click on this. Just check how many of them are selected. So after selecting multiple applications, you will see this option called Prepare Apps for Planning with Maintenance Planner tool. So either you can start directly from Maintenance Planner tool, or you click on this button to start from the Maintenance Planner tool. Both options are fine. So you click on it and then say Plan with the Maintenance Planner tool, and you can see this is how the tool will start, the Maintenance Planner tool. So both options are the navigation paths towards the tool. So first let me now begin with the overview. So step number one is this is the overview screen where you will see what.
Anubhav.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Anubhav, sorry to interrupt. Is the app selection mandatory to be selected, or
No, it is
is an
not
optional?
mandatory. You can directly start the software maintenance planner tool. I gave you the link. So one navigation path is a direct link, another is using the app selection. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Then after that, you will land up to this overview screen. On this overview screen, you will see the server to be installed of backend and frontend. Remember, if you are going with a central hub scenario, you need a separate backend and separate frontend system. So that is what we will be choosing here. More like prerequisite for installing the Fiori apps. And then you will see this prerequisite and you just click on the next button. So you see this next button. I click on the next button, it takes me to the next screen. On this screen, you will select the system for installation, where you will choose your backend or front-end system, where installation should take place. Now, there are two options. One, let's say in your company, there is already a backend and front-end system, and you want to just install Fiori app. So this option, you will choose already existing system. But let's say in your company there is no system, it's a fresh system you want to install with. Then in that case you can choose a fresh installation. So you see existing system or install new system. Yes. Then we choose, let's say, existing or new, and we click on next. And now it will tell you, let's say I chose in this case the screenshots, I chose a existing system. So it will detect those existing systems. What are all the support packs and different software components which are already installed, and what is going to be updating. So you can see it as a detail analysis, impact analysis, and it is showing me here this icon which says this is going to be newly added, this is going to be upgraded. So it will clearly tell you an impact of change once the installation will continue. And after that, you will click on next. So both front end and back end will tell you separately. So you see in the front end, it is going to update something, a front end server, and in the back end, it's going to install a new EHP7 for ECC6 and SAP ECC6 upgrade. It will take care. Then I click on next, and now it will just give you a brief overview and summary of what are all the different files and technologies you want to install. Yes, you will also at this point of time choose your alternate softwares which you need to install, like OS dependent, which database you are going to configure this system, and all of that information you will just see an overview. As a next step, you click on continue. It will finally give you a list of all the independent software components which will be installed in your system. We click on next, and then it will just show you this overview screen where you can download a stack.xml file. What is stack.xml? It's a file which contains information about what is that your requirement is. What is in total you wanted to download and install in your company system. That is what is stored inside this file based on your maintenance, based on your tool selection. So this file will now we will take and go to another tool which is called Software Update Manager tool, so called SUM tool. In the SUM tool, we would need this XML file which will tell the SUM tool to install these components in your SAP server, and in these servers it need to install. Yeah. So let me show you now this process which we saw in the PPT. Maybe not everybody get the opportunity to do a fresh installation in your company. Majority of you already having a system. You wanted to do a Fiori security or an update. So in that case, these steps are not relevant for you. This is something which typically a hardcore basis work, which basis will take care. So a stack XML will look something like this. Yes, when you open in a PDF form, and it will show you also a report like this. What is that you did all over in the system? So these are 7 steps. So if I go back over here, just give me a second. Let me connect to Software Update Manager tool, this maintenance planner tool.
So, Anubhav, is there any benefit of selecting a Fury app while setting up
Yes, it will install
the
that
Fury
Fury app for
system?
you together.
So you mean to say that post that installation, we won't be required to do the rapid deployment? It won't be required?
Please wait for that question. Rapid deployment and installation, two are different steps, different things.
No, no. My concern over here is that is there any benefit of selecting Fury app at this time?
Yes, because Fiori apps are part of a package. Package is part of an application component, and application components together make a software component. So if you don't have that software component in your system, you don't even have the Fiori app.
Okay, so it will be kind of a later on we may have to select it, or either we can select it now.
Just take an example of any software in your computer. You might have installed maybe at least MS Word, MS Office, or let's say GoToMeeting software in your computer. First, you download the software, then you install
Yeah,
it, and then you
yeah,
start
yeah.
using it after configuration. So same thing applies here. First, the Fiori app has to be downloaded. The source code needs to be there in your system. If
Okay,
it is
okay,
not there, what
got it.
activation will you do?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So rapid deployment and all those things are completely different things. They don't mix up them with installation.
Got it. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Please mute your line. Okay. So now if I just go back and show you the process in the system, so I'll go into the Fiori preference library, and usually we can select app by application component, role, industry, line of business. Suppose I wanted to install a app from sales area, and then I can see a lot of apps here. Maybe I just pick up any random application, and if I come down, you will see this is S4HANA. Yes. And if I go to the implementation information, I need to first click on aggregate button. So it will aggregate everything. And now I can just see the overall requirement of what needs to be installed. So it would require a UI component for SAP HANA. Remember the component which I taught you in the last class. And it will also need a S4HANA server component, which is S4 core. These two components I taught you in the last class are bare minimum to do any setup or installation. You see UI S4 OP1 and S4 core. So you can see UI S4 OP1 version is 600 and S4 core version is 105. So that is what it is telling me, the installation requirement for both front end and back end is front end server and back end server. And then if you are using embedded system, then you will choose things accordingly in this tool. So I say prepare apps for planning with maintenance planner. I click on that. It's asking me to wait. You can also see here simplified installation with maintenance planner. Read this link. Let me open in the meanwhile it's loading. So here you can see all the steps are clearly explained by SAP. The complete process of installation step by step. I also read this document only to be able to explain you these steps. So they will provide all the step-by-step description of creating a stack.xml. Yeah, so that is what they are doing, which I just explained. Okay, plan with maintenance planner. I click on it. It launches my maintenance planner tool. Okay, there is a error in the maintenance planner tool. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to show this, I guess. Or let me just try again. It worked. Okay, so you can see I have launched my maintenance planner tool, and now I can just click on explore systems. I can check all my systems which I have in my company. Yes, and you can see all the databases I have, ABAP, HANA, everything what I have in the system. And if I click on plan, it will now launch directly the screen which I showed you on the PPT to begin the installation. Yes, it takes me to the home page, and now it's backend and front end. Joseph, please mute your line. Request you, Joseph, to please mute your line. Thank you. Okay. So now you
Yeah,
can
hi,
see,
Anita.
we have got here the backend server and the front end server.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was muted, correct. So now here you see the product version. It is going to install S4HANA 2020 support pack 1, SAP Fiori, SAP S4HANA SPS support pack 1. Yes, this is the UI, the front end part, and this is the back end part. Now you may be wondering,
Anubhav?
how can I choose whether I want to do a embedded one or a central hub scenario? That is what I wanted to choose. Correct. So let's click on next, and here is where you can choose whether you want a standalone system or you want a code deployment with backend. Remember, two options, central hub or standalone. Standalone means you want independent backend and independent front end. But if you say co-deploy, co means together. You want to deploy both of the things together on a single machine. So if I choose maybe let's say a standalone, which means I'm choosing central hub. So my front end will be installed separately and my backend will be installed separately. So here the minimum requirement is your company should have already a backend system. So that is why you see there's no option to create a new backend, but there is an option to create a new front end. So here you will choose your existing backend system. Let's say I select this and then I will choose what is the target version. So it is determining now, it is contacting SLD, software landscape directory, and it is determining what is the current version of this particular EAD system. Is it already S4 HANA or not S4 HANA? If it is not S4 HANA, system will also do a upgrade. You can see it's already S4 HANA 1809. And now I want to upgrade to 2020. So I will say 2020 is what I want to upgrade. My backend will be upgraded and I want to install a separate front end server. So separate front end, I say install a new separate front end server and let's say FES. The target version is going to be 2020 S4 HANA FES and now I click on next. So based on this configuration which I've given, either I want to go a embedded system or central hub, system will decide and it will check all the important components. So now you see it is telling me that this one will be installed newly. You see plus, 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 plus. And if there is something which it will need an update, it will do an update. It will show the update also. Now it is also showing the impact analysis basically. I click on next. Now it will ask me the files to be selected. So which operating system am I using for both backend and front end? So you see plus this FES will be installed newly, but this is already in the backend. This is already there. It is already detected as a Linux SAP HANA database kernel 7.81 Unicode. That is what it is telling my backend system to be. My front end system, I have to now choose hardware where I need to install. Yes. So installation will be eventually done on a hardware, on a physical computer. So it is loaded all the computers which I have in my company. I choose maybe the same computer, this one, let's say, and I want to install on this Linux machine my front end component. I say confirm selection, continue. So if I wouldn't have chosen a separate installation, I would have chosen a code deployment, then it should have selected only one system where it has installed also the front end component together with the backend component. But since we selected FES as separate, it is now going to install FES system separately. Yes. And now it's just telling you all the dependent and independent files. No problem. I will just say next. Next again. It is going to download.
So Anubhav,
Yes.
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but as we are also need to upgrade our backend system over here from 1809 or to 2020. So is that from the development perspective? I just wanted to know, like 1809 code is also compatible on 2020, or is there has to be done anything before we do an upgrade activity from the development side to make code compatible on 2020?
Code
The Z code.
compatibility, if it's S4HANA to S4HANA, it is already compatible. But if it is not S4HANA to S4HANA, they will take care of after the installation.
Okay, so we can proceed with the installation, and post installation we have to ideally do the code compatible from ECC to S4HANA.
Yes.
But from S4HANA to S4HANA, no issue on the compatibility.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so now this is the log you can see. it is just giving you all complete report what it is going to do. Yes, but important is this stack XML which I want. So where is my stack XML? Okay, it's the log download files. So this is the PDF report basically, what it generates for us when it comes to building the log. So in the download file section, I think I should get my stack.xml file, which I think I missed to download. I simply clicked on complete. So let me go to back, one step back, next, and we will download the stack XML. So you see download stack XML. I download this file, and this has all the details about my installation, my selection, and everything, including system and hardware. As a next step, we go to Software Update Manager tool. So this tool is just a planner tool. It will help you to plan what are all your systems, where what needs to be installed. But the plan is now in form of an XML. So this XML we will use to upload in a tool called Software Update Manager, SUM tool. And there that tool will be used to complete the installation. So I'll switch over back to slides. And unfortunately, I cannot show SUM tool because it's very risky to run SUM tool in my company system right now. I showed you the process of building stack XML, and if you build the stack XML properly, trust me, you'll not have an issue. However, let's see the steps to work with Software Update Manager tool. I'm giving you the link here. This is the link you can use. Two links are there. You can just go ahead and check about SUM tool. In the past, we used to use Solution Manager, but that is retired already. And now we're using SUM tool, Software Update Manager. So we go back and we can see here Software Update Manager tool. So let's understand how this works step by step. So once you start the tool, this is basically a tool which you can download directly from SAP Service Marketplace in your computer. And then this tool will run on a hostname 4239 port. It will start the SDT GUI, Software Update Manager tool, a GUI like this. Yes, you can see it started. And in the next step, you will give first a administrator password and role. Yes. And then next step, you will just provide the details, what type of system it is going to be. Yes. So you can see also a SAP note on more information about this tool. Then you select the welcome page. It will tell you that this tool will help you to do installation, and then you will select your target. So the target is going to be from stack XML file. You see stack XML file. So that you will browse that stack XML file, which we just created on the maintenance planner tool, and then we click on next button, and then we will just confirm the target. Next button, it will start the installation. So it will initialize, it will first analyze your system. It will check whether system appears to be okay. Is the hardware here required memory to capably store all the data and the new installation. Then it downloads all the files from the internet. Yes. And then what it does is it starts extracting those files. At the same time, now you need to, since it's a system which is newly going to be installed, it is asking you first the database name and the data dictionary password. So this is a DD password. This is the system user password for database. If it is HANA or Oracle, it will ask you the central password for the database. Then you will provide the properties like how you wanted to do installation. So for the ABAP system, you will provide all the details. As a next step, it will give you an overview of the nodes which needs to be kept in mind while doing the installation. And then you will click on the configuration. The configuration will here allow you to give what is the downtime of the system, because if you are going with an existing system and upgrading it, then there will be a certain amount of downtime. So you can choose what is the mode you wanted to run it. You wanted to fully leverage the resources or high uses of resources with archiving of moderate resources or manual selection of parameter. So usually we choose high resource uses, means use all the hardware resources to complete installation as fast as possible. Then we have next step, do not update dialog instances. which means I wanted to still have the same number of dialog process even after installation. Don't update that. Then you will give the Java setting. If you're installing a ABAP plus Java NetWeaver together, you will give Java settings. If you're not just installing ABAP stack, then it's enough to provide the first set of settings. Then next step is configuration, where you will give your P72 ADM user password, which is basically operating system credentials, where you remember we are doing it on a Linux. So you will give your root system username and password so that the tool can connect to Linux accordingly and begin the installation. Then the next step is you will give also your SAP star password. This is the super user password in entire SAP system. This is the user which has all the permissions in entire SAP system. It's a default user which exists in SAP system. Like there are two default user in every SAP server. One is SAP star user, one is DDQ user. So you will give that. And the next step, it will just show you the configuration, what all the parameters you chosen, system ID, database ID, all that. Then it will ask you what is the kernel version you wanted to install or you wanted to keep. Any add-on if you wanted to add like utility, retail, oil and gas, you can select them. And then it will ask you the current version and what is going to be the new version it is going to install in the system. So that is what it will give. Next step, it will ask you the customizing request, any changes which system will take care. Do it in the dev system or the during installation you wanted to put them in a transport request. You can give those request numbers here. Then comes is the SPDD and SPAU transport numbers. Earlier we used to give it manually, but now directly we can mention the transport request for SPDD and SPAU in the system, which will lock all the DD changes related to the upgrade into these transports. Basically, let's say you had a table before installation or upgrade in a system which has 5 fields, SAP table. Now SAP got 5 more fields in new table. So this new fields needs to be added, but when the ABAP tries to add these fields, then these should need a transport request. So that is this transport request which you will pass here in the system if you're upgrading a system. And then you just follow the checks, pre-processing, extraction, and post-processing and finalization. So it will be a automated process. Rest all is automated process through which the installation will get over. You can also see a lot of other notes and update guides over here in this blog, which is very helpful. You can go and read about a lot of blogs, questions, discussions here about the installation process with Software Update Manager tool on the internet directly from SAP website. So you can see all of this information is given to you, all the blog post. Many times if you get stuck during installation process, you can always go and post a question here. You can write a blog post, you can ask a question if you get stuck, and they will support you. There will be a good community support you will receive during installation. So that is the brief process of updating your system or upgrading your system or converging your system, and then perhaps your system will be ready, it will open, and then you will just start logging to the system and you'll open it for developers accordingly.
Yeah, Anubhav, one question over here. So this SPAU and SPDD activity is ideally required only during the upgrade, or when we're doing a fresh installation, is there any
Fresh
significance of SPAU
installation
and
is not
SPDD?
required, only during upgrade it is required.
Okay, so when we compare upgrade and fresh installation, only changes only this SPAU and SPDD activity, rest complete
Yes.
process remains the same, right?
Yes. So you can see the process
Okay.
is absolutely same. You just choose tag XML. Majorly, this is the main part. Choosing is tag XML. It has most of the details, and you just click on next, next, next. It will take care of entire installation and upgrade. The tool will take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So now that's the process, but majorly most of you will not do this activity. This is a activity which I think already done, and then you will be able to monitor the system available in your company. So now if the system installation is complete, as a administrator, you need to open the system for developers and administrators. But we need to try to understand first of all what are all the different job roles which exist around you, who will take care or who will take care of what kind of activity in a company. because there is very thin line. It's very difficult sometimes to understand, is this part of work which is coming, is it my responsibility or not even my responsibility? So we need to clearly understand what is your responsibility and what is not. Or even it's not, at least you should know whose responsibility it is when it comes to coming to a work. So let's go back and understand what are all the different user personas or developer personas or technical consultant personas which do exist in the system. So at this time, maybe I'll go back to my last class slide and I will pick up this system from here and I will paste that system diagram here. So this is our system. Okay, let me just paste it as an image. Make sense? So this is my system. This is my SAP S4 HANA system, which has all my Fiori apps. This is the most concerned one which we are targeting right now. Now, what are all the different job roles which do exist around us while working with this system? Let's understand what kind of consultants do we have and what kind of job roles which do exist today. So let's talk about different consultants. So first, let's talk about first consultant and what do they do. So these are all the consultants which are basically pure basis consultant, SAP basis consultant. What is their main responsibilities and job roles? So their duty is to arrange the hardware, provide the specification of hardware to the procurement team so that hardware, the servers, the memory can be purchased. Then install, plan for system installation, install or create stack XML, and install system. Upgrade systems, download and apply SAP notes. Then maintain system health and backup. Overall security and user management. They will take care of building, creating initial users, setting up initial users and security. Sometimes they also work as GRC consultants. GRC stands for Governance, Risks and Compliance. This is a completely new SAP module which stores all the information about different users in a company and takes care of overall security. There are different modules like access control, process control, which are part of GRC. I'm not a GRC consultant, so I'll not be able to explain more about GRC and SAP system integrity. But they will, here is where they can create rules through which the security is centrally enforced on all the users in entire SAP server. So they will work in close with GRC consultant to make it more secure and centralized for user management. That is first kind of job profile. Now, out of this, we just learned the installation part. This part we've already learned. Yes. Any recommendation where to learn GRC? I'm really sorry, at the moment I do not have any recommendation for the same. Okay, let's talk about the next job profile, which is our main work, which you will be learning in coming days in this training. The second type of job profile which exists is called SAP Fiori administrators. Sometimes people call basis people as administrator, but this is in different profile now. Fiori, SAP Fiori administrators, or also known as Fiori consultants, Fiori security consultants. What is their job role in a company? What do they do? What is their work? And this is what our major piece of work is going to be in this training. So their job is to install Fiori apps. If the Fiori app is missing in the system, check and verify if the components are available So if there is a Fiori application in your company, how can you go and check if that application is already available or not? If not, then planning for the installation. Then next is conduct fit to standard workshop. I will tell you more about fit to standard in unit number 11. So fit to standard in general, understand that SAP deliver thousands of Fiori apps to you out of the box. Now your company may not want to build a completely new app. Maybe a app given by SAP itself already have the functionality what you're looking for. So why do you need to spend time and money to to actually create a new Fiori app? Maybe that app is already there from SAP. So you need to find out the gaps, and that is the first step towards any Fiori implementation. Fit to standard. You will see most of the apps which are already delivered by SAP, does they fit to the needs you have. Then build a identify scope. Scope means what is missing piece, what is the application which is missing, it's not there, or the functionality app is there but the functionality doesn't suit your requirement of company. That is what will be done by Fiori administrator, Fiori security consultants. Then the next work is they need to configure roles in Fiori system. So Fiori apps are role based. It's the entire implementation is role based. You don't want people to access your application unnecessarily. Yeah, unnecessarily nobody can access all the applications. Suppose there's application for payroll which hold the information about all employee salary. If I by chance got an access to that, I can go and check everybody's salary. Right? So you should be very careful in giving access to the system, to the applications, and that's what this part will take care by taken care by Fiori security consultant, configuring the roles in the system. They will manage the deployment of Fiori apps, run task lists. What is a task list? Task list is a group of tasks combined together to speed up your implementation. So we'll talk about this also in unit number 10 more in detail once we go towards the implementation in the system. I'm just explaining what all the different job profiles and job role which exist, who does what. Then they will create users who work with Fiori. So there will be end users who would use the Fiori as they will adopt the Fiori, and these administrators will take care of Fiori user creation. Yeah, they will also create sample users for testing, and they will also take care of uh, configuring and adoption of standard SAP content. That is what they will take care. Then they will also take care of standard Fiori app activation. This is also one of the important chunk you would want to learn in this training, how to activate standard apps. Once the app is there in the system, what is that we need to do? Troubleshoot Fiori apps, why they are not working, configure custom apps according to need, develop new custom content and roles, design launchpad homepage or pages, configure pages for the launchpad, configure entire company theming experience for Fiori. This is what also they will take care. Change login and logout pages. Suppose my company want a different login screen for Fiori. These are the people who will take care of changing them. So quite a large number of work is taken care by these consultants when it comes to implementing Fiori in your company. So we will be learning all of it in our training. Then comes is the third type of consultant. They are called key users. And this is a concept of S4HANA. Key user is a S/4HANA concept. It's not there in SAP Business Suite. So these are called key users. What is the job of a key user? Who are key users? First of all, key users are non-technical. They are not developers. They don't know JavaScript. They don't know XML view. They are not developers actually. Sometimes you as a Fiori administrator will also can do this job. We will be covering it in this training. So they are more of functional and little technical, not too much technical. They are functional consultants with little knowledge on technical stuff. So with little technical knowledge on UI5. Yes, they are from non-coding background. They don't know how to build, use bash and other tools. Their main job function is to enhance Fiori apps with minor adaptations, which we call key user extensibility in S/4HANA. So this is what their main job is. They also can do customization changes in SAP server, configure apps like Mindbox Fiori app for accessing the work items. We will also learn workflow integration in this training.
No, no, my call can.
Sorry guys, Venkat has unmuted his line. Okay, now next they will also customize the analytic card apps and create or use S/4HANA embedded analytics to develop new type of apps which are fully based on drag drop. This is what key user extensions or users will take care of. They are not technical people. Again, not heavily technical, heavy coding background. Then comes is the third job profile, and this is what we call it as Fiori developers. If you've taken my last training, then this is what you've learned. UI5 Fiori developers. Yes. What is the job which we did in last training is what they do. They will set up the development tool like Bash, VS Code, Web IDE, whatever the tool, create secure connection using cloud connector and maintain destinations. This is what they do next. Then they will also take care of developing custom Fiori applications, either using annotations or freestyle using pure JavaScript. They will take care of developing OData services and activation of services, create custom apps of different kinds, troubleshoot apps, and if there is a custom app which is not working, troubleshoot that. That is what they'll take care of. Deploy Fiori apps developed in company to SAP system, work with SAP BTP to open app on SAP Cloud Foundry. Extensive knowledge on JavaScript and Node.js is required for this profile. Build unit and integration test. Create CI/CD pipelines for continuous innovation and continuous delivery. Advocate the development team. This is what the main job profile. Create prototypes. Before starting any development, create Fiori prototypes as well. So these are the different job profiles which a typical developer will take care of. So now I hope everybody is clear who does what. Now, if a person who is capable of doing the red one, this one, and green one, yeah, all three, or in fact almost all the four job, that is called Fiori architect. So at the end of this training, you all will become Fiori architects because you will be able to do end to end all of it. That is what the main goal of this training is. We will learn everything what I've noted down here in this, except the development. This one we learned it already in our previous training. But if you are going to learn these ones, you will actually get complete knowledge to become a Fiori architect. Some portion of this we didn't do in the first training, like integration test, OPA 5 test, unit test, VS Code, Fiori on Cloud, Fiori Elements. We will cover a major portion of this also in this training, which is a advanced training, a very advanced training stuff we will be covering in this training as well. So I hope everybody is clear in terms of job profile. Everyone, any questions on job profile?
Anubhav?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, from the key user's perspective for non-technical, it states embedded analytics. So, is this more towards BW area, which should be covered up by Fiori Architect as well, or is this something which?
So we will learn how to build KPI tiles in this perspective. That is what we will do. So it is not related to BW actually.
So does that include the analytical path framework as well?
Yes.
Anubhav?
No, analysis path framework we don't cover in this training. That we cover in our S4HANA side-by-side extension training. We will cover KPI tiles here in this training. So S4HANA Embedded Analytics has 5 pillars. The first pillar is called Query Browser. Second is called KPI tiles. Then it's called Overview Pages, Analytic List Page, Analysis Path Framework. So it has got 5 pillars S4HANA Embedded Analytics. We are covering these 4 in our these 3, 1, 2, and 3 in our ABAP on HANA come S4HANA training. The KPI tile we will cover in the current training, including OBP and ALP also here we will cover. And then APF we are going to cover in S4HANA Cloud Extension Training, Analysis Path Framework. So if you want to learn all 5, you have to perhaps join this current course which you have taken, ABAP on HANA afterwards, and then after that S4HANA Cloud Extension. These 3 modules covers all the 5 pillars because they all require different skills. Like some require CDS view, some require BAS knowledge, some require annotation knowledge, some require annotation on Fiori side, some require annotation on CDS side, some require configuration, some require customizing. So a lot of different technical skills which are required to learn complete set of entire S4HANA Embedded Analytics, and that's why they are spread across multiple trainings we have at Anubhav Trainings. Unfortunately, I don't have any course which covers everything. That will be a big course of 120 or 150, 180 hours. We have split it down it according to the profiles and certification into multiple modules actually.
So this analytical path framework, does it require cloud as well?
No, it doesn't require cloud, but I just covered that in my S4HANA Cloud Extension training actually, because that's where more of a S4HANA oriented training for
Okay.
developers and analytic experts. Okay, so let's move on now with our very first and important topic. After the installation is complete, what is the very next thing? The very next thing is to make Fiori apps accessible to the end user. Your end user should accept Fiori. Yes. Now, one clear statement and guideline from SAP: if a customer do not adopt Fiori, if a S4HANA, so basically S4HANA comes with Fiori apps and non-Fiori apps, as you already saw. So you will still have the apps based on web GUI and the GUI, which is like classical apps, classical transactions like BA01, Migo, blah blah blah. And then you have Fiori apps, you have WebIntro apps, you have BSP apps. So broadly, these are all the four broad category of technical apps which you have in your company. With S4, the clear guidance from SAP is if a customer does not adopt Fiori, they will not get full benefit of S4HANA innovations. So though your company moved to S4HANA, you saw the history class where we talked about history of SAP systems. S4HANA is the latest ERP and it has a lot of innovations. And if your company do not adopt Fiori, if Fiori first is not your approach, still people are using S4 system as from SAP GUI from backend, then you will lose the benefit of using S4HANA. You will basically lose it. So SAP's guidance is customers will not benefit if they don't adopt Fiori. Fiori first is the is must for using S4HANA in company. Yes. So how does your users will access Fiori apps actually? So all the users will have a single entry point to access all the S4HANA Fiori and non-Fiori applications through browser called SAP Fiori Launchpad. So SAP Fiori Launchpad is the single access point, only one entry point for accessing all the apps. So if you are allowing your users to directly log on to SAP GUI to access, like create sales order, create accounting document, create ledger entry, do dunning, if you're asking to do that to your users, you are actually opening two entry points. One is SAP GUI and one is Launchpad. It should never happen. You should only and only have one entry point for your end users for accessing all applications, which is SAP Fiori Launchpad. Now, some of you may ask question that maybe we don't have a Fiori app like BA01. Can they access BA01 also from the Launchpad? Answer is yes, they can. You say, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. They can access BA01, Migo, any classical transaction which is built using SAP GUI can be accessed also using Fiori Launchpad. It's part of your training and we are going to cover that in chapter 14 more in details. So don't worry, hold your breaths. We will cover this topic definitely. You will understand how to access classical any transactions using Fiori Launchpad also in the system. This will be covered in the training. So that's it for the day. I guess we saw the concept of installation, setup, how to use the maintenance planner tool to create a stack XML, and finally software update manager tool to use the stack XML to complete the installation. Then we talked about the concept of different roles, different user persona, developer personas, different profiles which exist around you in the company, and what do they typically do. Maybe some of you might not have understood some points out here. What is this particular activity? Don't worry. Once we get into each and every activity throughout the next 50 hours, you will be more clear on what, who does, who takes care. First, we are going to we started with basis. We learned about how to set up a system. Now system is ready. So we'll start as a administrator, how you can go ahead and check if a certain Fiori app is available or not, and how do you open up the access for your end users for the Fiori applications. So that is what we will be learning. We'll start with Fiori Launchpad in the next class. What is Fiori Launchpad? First, a general overview of Launchpad, how it works from the end user point of view, and then we will learn how to design a Launchpad as an administrator, how to give access to the Launchpad, what roles are required to give access, how to create administrator user who can create, who can build the Launchpad also, or basically Launchpad design. There are new tools like Fiori Page Composer, Space Designer. We have a lot of concepts like role creation. We have Fiori App Manager. So a lot of these new concepts are also coming in the market in S4HANA, especially S4HANA 2020. There are major number of changes in this space. We're going to learn all of that from a perspective of a Fiori administrator. So as a Fiori security or Fiori administrator, what activities would you do, and how do you give access to different users for different functionality? How do you suppress functionality from the user to control the security and access of Fiori apps, which are both standard and custom Fiori apps? First, we'll start with standard, and then we'll start about custom. We will learn about now after installation. You will talk about Fiori, Fiori rapid deployment of Fiori apps. That's something which is after installation. You have everything in the system, and now you will deploy them. You will activate the Fiori apps in masses, and that's called Fiori rapid deployment. Don't worry, we have a topic coming. I think in next to next class this week itself we'll cover rapid Fiori deployment. So you've got to wait for that if you want to learn that. Any questions before we close today's class?
Yeah, Anubhav, just wanted to know how to differentiate between a BSP app and a Fury app. Because as per my understanding, the Fury app is also a part of the BSP package.
Right. So under the BSP library, if you see two apps, the BSP apps will not have a manifest.json file, but a Fury app will have it.
Okay.
Yes.
And from the visual perspective, we cannot identify whether it's a Fury app or a BSP app.
Unfortunately, I have not worked with much BSP at the moment. I don't have it handy with me. If you can arrange for next class a BSP app at front of me, I can show you the DOM, and through which I can tell you that how to detect if it's a BSP. Because the DOM which we saw in the last class, the F12 tool, that will clearly help you to understand whether it is BSP or Fury.
Okay. Apart from that, when we set up the SAP Fiori launchpad, do we have to do anything specific in terms of performance improvement? Because there is a major issue what we observe when we access the Fiori on launchpad, where we see the sluggish performance of launchpad. So are we covering the performance perspective?
Till 2020 there was an issue, but now SAP, that's why to fix that issue SAP came up with the new concept of launchpad pages and spaces. So that will naturally fix your issue.
So if we upgrade from the existing to 2020, then ideally that should fix up that issue.
Yes, but not directly. You have to enable pages and spaces also.
Okay. And one thing what I observed is that when we go to the Fiori apps library, one of the app which I observed was the sales order fulfillment. And when there is a screenshot of the Fiori app, so that is showing some microcharts on the top of that Fiori app. But when we set up that Fiori app, ideally we are not getting the same what we are observing over there on the Fiori apps library.
That is because version difference.
Yeah.
Version difference.
Sorry.
So
version difference.
Yes, you can check the SAP note associated to the Fiori app. So every Fiori app you will have a associated note actually. So if you go and search the Fiori app, it will show you the associated note. So let's say sales order fulfillment search. You see there are two versions of that. Fulfillment version 2.
Yeah.
New version. And you can see here the version on S4HANA Cloud, and below that you see version. So maybe you have to go to the correct product version and then see what is that it says. Sometimes I've seen they have incorrect screenshot. They've not updated also. Yes. So that is why see this is where it causes a problem. So it shows a different screenshot here, but once you go to the app, it will completely be different. One more thing you need to cross check is this Fiori app ID. Are you opening the correct app? That is very important.
Yeah, ideally, like I even checked this app on the 2020 version, but what the screenshot they are referring over here is different from what we are getting on 2020 version.
You can also check these notes for more detail, and still if you have confusions, let's say it's not at all, you can go to SAP support portal and open ticket on SAP. You'll get your answers from them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Then I will need to recheck on the notes. Yeah.
Yes,
I will check on later. Yeah.
correct. So please meet your line. Is it practice to ECC ABAP custom application as well workaround if gateway server goes down in central hub scenario? There is no way to fix it. So yes, users can access the custom app directly from backend if the gateway goes down. That is the benefit of your central hub scenario. We know you are not into SAP certification, but just wanted to know, is there any certification code for this training? Yes. So if you go to CER006, which is the certification hub on SAP education website, is there any licensing cost for Fiori apps? Not really. Licensing will be charged per product. So you will choose either ECC or S4HANA. When you buy S4HANA, license cost is for S4HANA, not per Fiori app. It's a on-prem system. Okay, coming to the certification code, it's called Fiori ADM Administrator Training, Fiori underscore ADM. Here it is, FIOAD 1909, SAP Certified Technology Associate, SAP Fiori System Administrator. This is the certification code for Fiori Security Training. If you go and check the details, you will see the topics: system administration, HTTP communication, Fiori content management. Content, remember content in the last class I was talking about. System landscape, which includes central hub and deployment options, infrastructure, implementation and operation, Fiori foundation, and Fiori architecture. So these are all the topics which are part of this. The cost of this certification is 17,915 INR. So this is the certification relevant for this training. You can go through that. Okay.
So, Anubhav, for certification on Fiori, we are having only these two certification from SAP, or are we having any other certifications?
One is a dev, one is the admin. I have already cracked all my certification. Both of them I've already cracked. So it was just like so easy to crack both of them. So that is why I will also cover some of the important questions in this training, so that when you are going for it, it would not take so much difficulty for you to crack as well. However, towards the end of the training, just remind me, I will give you a contact person details, so you can contact them to buy dumps. You can read the dumps and you can crack exam anytime. So that is the beauty. You will get it when it comes to working with the system. Just give me a second. Let me show you my certificates, how it looks like. So the related to Fiori, there are these two certifications which are good to go with. Yeah, these are the most recommended ones you can go. So just give me a second. They have recently changed the name. Earlier it was Fiori EDM 21. That was the code of this certification exam. When I did it like 6 months ago, the code was different. It was Fiori ADM underscore 21. Now they've changed the code to Fiori AD 1909. That is what they changed it. So earlier this Fiori administration training. So Fiori Dev 21 is for developers, and Fiori AD means administration 1909 is the new code they have put in. And earlier it was named as Fiori EDM underscore 1909. That is what it was named as actually. Unfortunately, I'm not able to find my certifications. Anyway, that's fine. You guys can go through that. So you can check the course content, and it will be very much matching to what we are going to cover. We will be learning most of these important concepts over here. All right. Thank you so much with that. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day.